What's up, guys? Quaish here, and today I'm going to be talking about gambling and the slippery slope that it becomes, especially in the Team Fortress 2 community. Let's do it. Now, before I really dive into anything historical or the origin of Team Fortress 2 gambling or where it came from, I kind of want to tell you my story. Now, obviously, I've been playing Team Fortress 2 for a number of years, and truthfully, I haven't gotten any better. You can probably tell by the gameplay. But I've been playing it for a long time, and as a young person, like many of you, when you first came into the Team Fortress 2 scene, you were enamored by the idea of getting items, hats worth value, things that look cool. Especially, hey, I'm some young middle school, high school student. I care about what people think. And that was the mindset that I have, man. I would dream of having unusuals, dream of getting cool items. And I mean, obviously, I didn't have the money to do so. So that wasn't possible. But during this time, and many of you know, gambling was huge around this year. I actually don't know the years off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen. It was a huge thing. Many streamers and YouTubers were promoting it. And man, honestly, as a young person, very hard to avoid watching or seeing anything that has to do with gambling. And truthfully, I fell into that trap. I fell into the trap of seeing these gambling videos, seeing these gambling streams. I'm like, man, I finally have a chance of getting something that I could never afford. And so there began my unfortunate dependency on gambling and draw to it. And that's where we're going to start this story. How did I get involved in gambling on the TF2 scene? What did the early gambling scene look like in Team Fortress 2? Let's dive. Let's see. Let's walk into that. And now I'm realizing I'm doing a second intro, but either way, let's talk about it. So Team Fortress 2 gambling actually began through one of the largest, most trustworthy sites that's still around today. Backpack.tf, can you believe that, was the pioneer of the gambling scene in Team Fortress 2, which I totally believe and totally trust many gambling addictions in young people through their participation in wanting to make a gambling site. Now, this video is not a, hey, I'm coming after Backpack.tf. They're terrible. They child casinos. They're bad people. Truthfully, I have no idea about who they are as people or who they are as, at least, I guess, a company now. But we cannot blot out what was historic, what actually happened in history. Just a quick editor's note. After kind of briefly going through and doing some Google searches, I didn't do a ton of research. This is all from, just my mind and what I remember. Still not entirely sure on the ownership and, who made what sites or whatever. But anyways, continue. Was from Backpack.tf. Yes. Now, Backpack.tf made two popular gambling sites. The first one was Backpack.tf Lotto. It was a very, mediocre, low effort thing, and surprisingly had a tab on the front page of Backpack.tf. So even if you never saw any YouTube videos or Twitch streams, when you go to price check or look for trades, it's right there for you to look at. And that was a very mediocre thing. Here's a video, give you a little bit visuals of what it looked like. And yeah, there are some large pots like that, 2 burning TCs, I know. And I'll have credits to videos below so you can see who, came up with this because I didn't record any of this. But yeah, that was their first iteration. That was the first gambling site in Team Fortress 2. And that's not the one I really saw or cared about. I honestly saw that and I said, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I wasn't interested in it. But their second iteration, which got its own little .tf offshoot, was sweepstakes.tf. And now sweepstakes.tf was the most popular, honestly the most appealing design. It was the gambling site for Team Fortress 2. The first and the only and the most popular. And man, let me tell you, there were so many high stakes gamblers, so many high items, big value, all up on this website. And man, it really allured me as a young man, and that's where it all began. Sweepstakes.tf. I was roped into it, and I fell into quite a bit of winning things, losing things, winning things again, and then having nothing. And I actually got scammed in between there. But sweepstakes.tf, I don't know if this is ringing some bells and wee kind of, memories in some of your minds, because man, it was pretty big at the time that it was released. And man, there are many notable people that are a part of the community that were participating in it, like most notably Squirrely TF2, even though he's kind of doesn't post anymore. But yeah, he made videos on how to gamble, how to win stuff. And now I'm not knocking him. I'm not saying he's a terrible guy for doing this. I mean, he was more than likely of age for gambling at the time. And if he wasn't, you know, he was just another statistic of falling into it. But yeah, he made videos about it. There's actually this one popular dude that I team gambled with. I think his name is Yahamasi. I never knew how to pronounce his name. But here's his little logo. I'll link his YouTube in the bottom. Also have another story with that one. But yeah, Team Fortress 2 gambling, man. Lots of people involved, very popular scene. And really it stoked the fire, or at least started the forest fire that would become the Team Fortress 2 gambling scene that unfortunately is still around today. And actually there's more sites than what it began with. It was just 1 or 2 sites. Now it's 3, 4 sites. It's a little ridiculous. So hold on a second. Why am I talking about all this? What's the reason behind this? Well, I want you guys to look at where it all began, where it all came from. What was the origin of this horrendous mark on, honestly, the just online community at large? And it started from one of the most trustworthy, one of the most sought after, you know, websites that honestly, the website even today and even back then would deem people, you know, who's a scammer, who has good reputation. They kind of held all this in their hands, yet they had their own little dark underbelly. You know what I'm saying? Dark little, yeah, this is not good dealio. But yeah, I mean, I got roped into gambling. I maybe can relate with some of you. Some of you are probably maybe adults now, a little bit older, and you're like, hey, I got roped into that. And honestly, I kind of wanted to start making this video in the sense of just talking about it, because I love talking. I made this channel so that I can just merely talk about things, but I have a ton of stories to go along that happened from this little website, sweepstakes.tf, and there's some dark ones. So that's why I just wanted to lay preface and say, man, gambling's terrible. It scourged the community, and it's still around today. And although my wise words may not mean much to you, but ultimately, just don't be involved in gambling. I mean, truthfully so, even if you're a full-grown, responsible adult that knows how to set limits, greed leads to more greed. There is no benefits from gambling in any way, shape, or form. So don't seek it out. Don't look for it. Because ultimately, you may win some things, because you will, but you're going to lose all of it. It always ends that way. It always ends that way. Some people may say different, but generally speaking, it always ends that way. But anyways, this is my little retrospective view, honestly, a little hors d'oeuvre to TF2 gambling, where it came from, what it was about. And also just want to let you guys know, this video is sponsored. Hey, I found this new site. I just tossed in a few items, and man, I won big. Go check out this site right here, guys. Anyways, love you guys. Peace out. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope you learned something. Either way, I'll see you in the next video. Later.